Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in. I'm John Cookman. This is James Lex. Today we're going to be talking about the RedNet, some in-ear monitoring systems, as well as cabling, and what happened at NAB. Let's start.
Technically speaking.
Today we got a lot of good topics that will hopefully help you. But we want to start off by talking a little shop from NAB, the NAB show 2016. I just got back, so I'm really high on all the new gear that's out there, all the new products that the manufacturers are prototyping. And we really got some futuristic look at what broadcast TV could look like in maybe 4 years.
Yeah.
8K?
No,
Is that possible?
Well, not right now with the current infrastructure, and I didn't get to go. So you tell me, what was the hot topic at NAB this year?
Well, so 4 years down the road, I think they're predicting that at least the Japanese and maybe South Koreans will be watching TV in 8K. But that's not the only importance of why the resolution evolution has gone forward. It's not just about the consumer, it's about how we actually use it in our industry, the resolution count. And so that was one of the hot topics. I went to the Technology Summit, which is
now it starts before the main
it is.
exhibit
It's Saturday, Sunday, and a little bit of Monday. There's all kind of conferences within the big show that are going on. The Technology Summit is just one of those. And we talked about frame rating and immersive sound. Yeah. What are the standards going to be for the cinematic post-production facilities? What standards are they trying to create for the vendors, the four walls where you go to watch the movies? And you get to hear from those vendors as to why they want to not move forward or why they should move forward. So a lot of really interesting things that were talked about this year. It wasn't really all about the high resolutions and the immersive video. Now, immersive sound is a big deal, but not immersive video. And I think we thought a lot more of that was coming, but not so much. But on the showroom floor, the manufacturers had all their prototypes out. Ikegami, I did get to see the new 8K camera with their brand new 8K monitor, and it was stunning. But that's not coming to a set top near you anytime soon. But it was a lot of fun to be able to talk shop and sit down with the NHK engineers and talk about why the evolution of resolution is so important.
Right.
And I wrote a blog about it. You can tune into that.
It's on lab440.com.
Lab440.com. A lot of people saying, what kind of cables should I use?
Oh, yeah.
What kind of cables do you use, James?
Oh, well, for video, there's only one kind of cable you should ever use, isn't there? I mean,
well, it depends. What kind of video are you shooting? If it's live broadcast.
HD, 1080.
Yeah. What kind of cable?
SDI. It's got to be SDI.
SDI. SDI is the main platform, the protocol cable that you want to use to link in your devices from camera to your switch or to your computer. It is the most efficient way. It's serial digital interface. That's what SDI stands for. And it comes in a few varieties. SDI 1.5 gigabit, 3 gigabit, now the 6 to 12 gigabit. So that all has to do with the bandwidth spectrum of what you're putting out. But most industry level cameras, broadcast cameras, are using that 3G output from the camera, and that will take the 1080p up to 60p frame rate, which is pretty fast. I don't know a lot of people broadcasting in 60p, but usually 30p or 60i would be what broadcast safe
most of it,
standards would be. So that 3G cable will be what you need to use. And you can buy that in bulk from any Home Depot, Lowe's, or monoprice.com or amazon.com.
What is it, like $100 for the box or something like that?
Well, you can get a little under $100 for 1,000 feet on a spool if you buy it in bulk. So that's what we do here. We cut our own cable, we terminate our own ends, we buy the raw ends. The important thing to know about your ends is get the BNC crimp on so that you can have a direct connection, because all industry grade equipment is going to use that BNC connector. A lot of times though, we do buy the adapters, the F connector to BNC. Got to be a little careful. You can't just buy any. We noticed that half of the ones that we buy from Monoprice are good, or half of them are bad. So you got to be careful. Buy the correct ones. Don't get the gold ones. They do not work very well. But if you can, just buy the ones that you can clip on the cable that are directly BNC. That will work best for you.
So big news, Twitter has recategorized itself. This is the new strategy. The CEO, Jack Dorsey's taking it, that Twitter is a news aggregation outlet. It's more about aggregating news and you creating the news than just me hitting like or follow or subscribe, whatever that is on the various platforms. So I don't know. I think it's a little bit of a play. A little bit. They're now number one in the news. They're competing with Reddit and BuzzFeed. I don't know. It's up in the air. But the main thing is that it does show a significant shift by Twitter to move into the news and the broadcast space. Which, speaking of broadcast, they have a specific app for that called Periscope, which you love Periscope.
I do love Periscope.
And one of the things you may notice, especially as you do Periscope, is you may be showing gear and you may say, hey, look at this. And right now you have to kind of maybe point to it and look at this. Well, now they're adding a feature where you can make annotations with your finger. You just kind of circle or maybe point to something, and it will show up on the screen for all your viewers, and it'll fade away about 5 seconds. So it's really nice because it doesn't. Kind of cool. Yeah, it doesn't invade it, but
I tell you, I wish they would add some parameters in Periscope that would allow you to keep up the chats. I know you can disable the chat so it will hide, but I wish they would give you some time limits.
Yeah,
because I noticed that if I'm talking or if I'm showing something and questions pop up, they fade away pretty fast, and I can't get to
and you can't go back
all of them. So I'd like that on at least the end where you are broadcasting from, for those to just kind of stay and keep scrolling up.
Right, or at least have the option in case
maybe you could dismiss them. Yeah. So Periscope, if you're listening, hear what we're saying.
Yeah, make that change.
Also, one major ad. Allow me to plug in a blooming microphone.
And I think we're going to see more. I think more of our hardware is going to adjust to Periscope now, being on mobile devices, because people are going to start doing interviews just right there on Periscope. It's instant. It's live. There's not a lot of layers there.
Yeah, LiveView, the company LiveView.
You were looking at them at NAB.
Yeah, absolutely. They were teaming up with some of my favorite personalities in the tech industry, Leo Laporte and Megan Maroney, and those guys over at Twit TV. They were there inside of a LiveView booth, I guess, and they were broadcasting live. So we got to see a little bit of the LiveView workings. Love the way they're creating on-the-go news reporters or media journalists. You can be one, and if you have a LiveView account, you just fire up the app and report some news that's happening, and you can merge that with other reports as well. So many different really cool things to do. I think LiveView is not only in that content distribution network provider like Livestream, but they're in that social media realm.
Yeah, they are.
Which connects back to your social edge.
And the content creation side of it, not just distributing, but actually helping you create it with various mobile apps.
Sure.
All right, let's talk about something new on Facebook. It's been out for a year on select content providers, and that is instant articles. Now, instant articles are different than, say, an article on your website. So let's say if you're a news, say you write a story about something in politics, and you share that. Well, if someone wants to see it, they tap the link, and it takes you, maybe if you're on the app, it'll slide over and take you to a web view. Well, Facebook said, instead of you going to a website, why don't we just bring it to Facebook and host it there so it's quicker? And so that's what they've done. So they started with 9 different providers, BuzzFeed for all the BuzzFeeders out there, and so now they're releasing it to everyone starting this past April. So we'll see that you do have to subscribe. Everyone's not
I
instantly
have a
on
question.
it. Yeah.
Who does that help more? Does that help us, the end user, more, or does that help Facebook?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it helps both, because it helps the end user in that it's 10 times faster to load it because it's already hosted on Facebook. You're already in the app, and it's going to help the provider or Facebook especially, because they're having their own monetization on the instant article. It's a little bit different. So something to look into, especially if you're using WordPress. Facebook's teamed up with WordPress.com, which is not WordPress.org, but they've teamed up with a team from WordPress.com. They've created a plugin so that you can instantly take all your articles and put it right into Facebook Instant. So go ahead and check that out if that's something you're into. And we'll wrap it up with some good news for Facebook after their quarter reports. 1.65 billion monthly active users. 1.65, easily number one, and they're not, and they've gone up too for like 8 straight quarters. They've been going up, and so they've made the move to mobile. And I think this instant articles thing is another step to solidifying their space in the mobile.
That's almost as many as MySpace.
Yeah.
So they're really gaining on MySpace now.
Who thought that would ever happen?
Not me. Facebook on the quest to take over the world and the internet more strategically. Wow. I'm still a Facebook fan. I know that the youngsters out there, not so much, but Facebook provides a really cool portal, more than just getting in touch or spying on your colleagues, your friends, or your old classmates. Right. But we're using it as a knowledge enhancement tool to partner and group with other technical leaders and people in our industry, and it's working really well. I love
the Facebook groups feature too.
Yeah,
it's a way to get.
Yeah, absolutely. And we suggest that either you follow our Facebook group or build one yourself and send us an invite. We'd like to be a part. We just want to keep the community growing. This ABL live production, broadcast production arena growing, so that we can all learn and gain knowledge and be more excellent. Next up, we're going to do a little tech talk. It's in-ear monitoring. In-ear monitoring. In the live production circles, for the last 10 years, in-ear monitoring has been a game changer. And it takes a lot of the ability, or not the real ability, but the burden, the responsibility off of the front of house engineer or another engineer that sits on the stage called the monitoring engineer, and really gives the on-stage user, which is most of the time a musician of some sort, it gives them the opportunity to create their own mix. Well, over the last few years, this has really developed an exciting new product. Well, they're not so new to the game. They've been developing, but the LiveMix has come out with a 24-channel model. That's real new to the in-ear monitoring arena. And most of them are 16. There are a few out there that have grown their product, but this one really works. But even better yet, this one mixer houses 2 units. So 2 people can get 2 separate mixes from one box.
2 separate mixes,
That's
not the same one,
not
just
the same
split.
one, yeah. And it's not just a split mix. They have isolated control, an A and a B. So you can have a guitarist on this side and a bass guitarist over here, and they both can have totally isolated mixes for themselves, not corresponding to each other. And there's a lot of other good features. We will have a review of this in a video blog form and just a written blog form. Be sure to look out for that at lab440.com. But we wanted to just talk a little bit about how the in-ear monitoring systems have graduated over the last few years. And these are things that you should be looking out for. How do they connect? There's two ways that in the audio world, how you connect devices to each other, especially in the in-ear world. And that's either through the analog or a digital chain. And we use the digital chain here because we take everything out MADI. And so our MADI interface comes out. Well, the input for the LiveMix system does not embrace MADI just yet. I'm sure they will in the near future, but they use a protocol called Dante. Well, we needed a MADI to Dante bridge, which kind of segues us to a gear review, and that we wanted to just, while we had this is a demo unit, this RedNet. It's the D64R. It's a bridge that will take in MADI and spit it out Dante. And this is how we made the LiveMix system work in our infrastructure, and it worked perfect. Really only took me about 10 minutes, and I'd say 3 minutes was downloading the software from RedNet. So it didn't take hardly any time
10 minutes
to get this thing up and running. And it's a very complex piece of gear, but they make it very intuitive. Once you open up the software, you can see what devices are connected. They actually have names, and it's just a matter of clicking and routing those. So I highly recommend this RedNet product. They have many other products that create bridges from all types of connections, from ADAT, Dante, MADI to the analog side of things. But also LiveMix has a analog solution. So if you just come out line level out of your mixer, you can go into that, and it will distribute to all your mixers, and you can put up to 8 mixers per unit, which calculate to 16 users, 16 separate users. That's pretty powerful.
Wow.
It's an amazing graduation in the in-ear field. So very, very pleased to be able to show you guys. These are 2 demo units. We want to thank the guys at LiveMix and RedNet for allowing us to demo. We put our stamp of approval on it. I think that would go well for you guys. They're not the only game in town, for sure, so you could do some research to find out. But we know for sure these guys are built well, and they do exactly what they say they're going to do.
And that's what you want out of your gear.
That's exactly.
And you've had good communication with the guys at
the customer service is off the charts, that's for sure.
And that doesn't always show up when you look at the price tag. You just look at the price tag and go, well, is this cheap? But really, your support is very important to that.
Yeah, LiveMix definitely the best bang for the buck in the in-ear monitoring world. And we really, for those houses of worship that have to think about their budgets a little more than others, this is the product for you. And you're getting more. There is so many, it's feature rich, and we will tackle that in our blogs. If you'll read that, you'll be able to really figure all those features out, because we'll be doing an extensive review. Well, that kind of ends our time today for Technically Speaking. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We're always happy and delighted to hear from you. Please send us suggestions. What should we cover? What should we talk about in our chit-chat sessions? We'd also like to build a Google Hangout kind of group where we can all sit down and kind of roundtable some ideas of what we can talk about here on Technically Speaking. But we really appreciate your viewership, the time that you take to invest in us, and we want to invest it right back in you with our research and our knowledge base, and we're trying to grow just like you in the excellence of media.